the problem with flexing. Roll the clip.
Nike collab, I think these are pretty expensive. 1,000.
We are here in my closet and I have some explaining to do. As you guys all know, I live in like a $15 million house. All my clothes keep getting $800. I'll just start from top to bottom. Yeezy Red Octobers, Fragment 1, Off-White Nike. White Yeezys that are actually dirty because I actually wear them. Yeezys, more Yeezys, more Yeezys, more Yeezys. Off-White Air Maxes and more Yeezys.
Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking not just necessarily about Ricegum, but just this whole idea that this is okay, and that just how it's pushed through YouTube towards not just the people that are watching, but it's really the age of the people that are watching, and a lot of times it ends up being younger people. It's just the reality of it. So the biggest issue with this, and with as the video that was shown, like Ricegum just flexing all these kids, showing this was $6,000, this was $2,000, I live in a $15 million house, is first of all you have to look at their age group, right? The people that are watching these videos, for the most part, when it comes to people like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Ricegum, those are three that come to my mind. When you look at their age group and their target age group, their primary audience is under the age of 15. It is the broad spectrum, and the vast majority is under the age of 18. And they're aware of this in their interviews. I could find them, but this isn't really that big a video, but there are interviews where Jake Paul is discussing that he knows his target audience, and there are ones with Logan Paul where he is, especially after the Suicide Forest incident, where he's discussing that he is aware of his audience's age, and they just push that content anyways. And it's not just this whole situation of, well, I can't help it who watches it, which is true, but you can change your content and change what your content appeals to, and their content is geared towards and appeals to this younger age. So you have these kids, and it's not just the whole being underage thing, it's just that you have these kids that their minds are so like malleable, if that makes sense. What you do and say affects them in real life, and affects their future goals, and affects their future dreams. So these kids, they look up to them, right? So they look up to Jake Paul and Logan Paul and Ricegum just because they invest a lot of time through this app watching them, and establishing almost a relationship. It's a one-sided relationship, but it's still a relationship and a connection that they have with these influence. But anyways, so, and also in a sense, they're really kind of manipulating their thought processes, and that word makes it sound a bit extreme. It's not like they're raising sociopaths or raising them to be serial killers, but you have these kids that wanted to be doctors, right? You have these kids that wanted to be an astronaut, a police officer, and I think it's almost 70% of kids, when they grow up, they want to be a YouTuber, because that's the cool thing. You make a lot of money, you don't gotta do a lot of work, it's not stressful. But again, a lot of these big channels, they don't show what all goes on. And next you have, they're creating an illusion of wealth. And don't get me wrong, they make money, they really do, and you can go on like Social Blade and stuff and see their income, but it's this huge thing to like over exaggerate what they make. And it's not just they make a lot of money, there's nothing wrong with making a lot of money, it's just when that's all you push, that's all they push you. In their music videos, they're in these Lamborghinis, and they're in these Ferraris or these Rolls Royce, and they don't even own these. They're all rented, and they're outside of mansions that they don't own. Ricegum doesn't own his. It's rented, and it's not there's anything against it, but they don't publicly, they'll just push that out there, you know what I mean? What they really do is they just kind of like to push that, hey, if you do this and this, you can be like me and you can have a lot of money. And it's not just that. What the problem is they make it, and they are influencing you to like the status of wealth, you have to display it, right? So it's not that you have a lot of money, you have to display that you have a lot of money. So then you have these kids who 10, 12, 14 years old don't have that money. They're in middle class income families, and now it's not that they feel pressured, but they want it. They want to have the shoes that he has. They want to wear the shirts that he has. So they're wanting to live outside of their means now and spending what for them is absurd amounts of money on these objects that they can't necessarily afford, and they're doing this to be like this person. It's not very often when you hear about the emotional stuff that they have to deal with and the mental health issues. It's not necessarily that these YouTubers are just going into depression, but it's just that this money doesn't equal happiness is really just what it comes down to. And it's not, it just seems that's what they push. Like, and there's this music video, I'm not gonna play it, but Ricegum has one where he talks about like he's like raised like in the hood. He didn't have a lot of money, but now look where he is, and that's why he flexes a lot. And he's like, in one line, I know he says, how could I be mad, like I live in a mansion. And they're going on and on about this stuff, about it's just all money, all physical items. If you have this, you'll be happy. So you have these kids who are like, well, I'm not going to be a doctor, then I'm just going to be a YouTuber, and I'm just going to make all this money, and I'm going to show that I make all this money. But the problem is, statistically speaking, it's so hard to even get to that point. Even as myself, I haven't made a lot of videos. I think this is my 12th video so far that I've made, and I do want to do this, obviously, and it would be awesome if at some point like I blow up and I'd be able to do this as like a full-time job. But on the opposite end, if I'm being realistic with myself, I know that it's not very likely. And so these kids, they're wanting to do this, they want to be a YouTuber, but their heart's not in it for the right reason. It's just what it comes down to. They're not doing it because they enjoy. I enjoy this. Nobody's watching these videos. I'm getting 8 views, 40 views. My most is 60. And it was literally just because it was the gender reveal. And I publicized it over my other social media, and family members and people I care about spent time to watch it. Out of the few subscribers that I do have, the majority is still just all family. And I understand that, but I'm doing this because I want to do it. I genuinely enjoy doing this. I enjoy just talking to a camera, I guess. But these kids are doing it just for the wrong reasons, is what the reality of it is. And eventually it is going to lead to mental health issues. It's going to lead to a depression, because eventually you're going to get to a point, if they make it, right? So they make it, they're getting all the views, they have all the subscribers, they have all these fans that want to talk to them, and they're going to feel empty, and they're not going to know why. And it's going to be because they're miserable doing what they do, because they never wanted to do it to begin with. And after that, they're going to feel discouraged, right? They're going to feel discouraged. They might feel let down if they don't hit that peak of what they're wanting to hit. And I'm not going to say they could become depressed because they don't become famous, but they're at least putting on hold their own personal ambitions to go for something excuse me, to go for something that just isn't really realistic for them. So my advice is to stop doing this. Even if you have the money and you have the views and you have the subscribers, stop pushing this idea that the money and the wealth and the fame grants you happiness. Stop pushing the idea that since if you have this, or you have to have this to be cool, you have to have these shoes to be cool, you have to wear this brand to fit in, because that's not the reality of it whatsoever, and that's just not the reality of life, and that's not how it goes. And if you live that way, ultimately you're not going to be happy. But the thing is, they're not going to stop. They're 100% not going to stop. And you have people like Jake Paul, who has a website called Edfluence, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it. But what this website is pretty much he pushes out this ad. He rolls up in this McLaren that he doesn't own. Doesn't own this. He rents this ad, or he rents this McLaren for this ad to show again, the money, the monetary value, and he's talking this expensive hotel, and he's in front of this mansion, just subliminal messages, just talking about the wealth, the money, you're going to be happy. And throughout the ad for this website, Edfluence, this whole thing is pushing this idea of, hey, I'm famous, and I'm going to teach you everything that I know to become famous on YouTube and social media as well. But the catch is, you have to pay me money. And that, to me, is so disgusting, because it's not just, hey, I'm going to push this idea. No, it's this idea of, he's always pushing this information, like, you need to do this, you need to buy this, you need to buy my merch, you need to wear this clothing, you need to wear this brand, and to do this, you gotta have this money. And he's like, okay, well, you just need to be famous on social media. It's easy, he says, it's easy to be famous. It just takes hard work, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know for this price. And again, it's these kids who are at the mercy of this guy who is pushing this propaganda at them, because they aren't old enough to fully understand what's going on here. And I know there are laws that protect against this. No one's ever going to end up doing lawsuits against it, but it's advertising and just pushing towards these kids, and they go to their parents and they go, hey, mom, dad, I want to buy this. So they spend $40, $50, $100 to get into this inner circle so they can learn what it takes to become famous on social media. And you look at the reviews for this website it has, and they're terrible. It says the advice is terrible, the whole site's a joke, and it's just a scam. The reason why he does it is because it guarantees even more views, and it guarantees him money. He doesn't care about you. These guys, they don't care about you whatsoever. They just want fame, they want attention, and they want money, okay? And they want those three things, and they say, well, you need to want these things, and I'm going to give you what it takes to want these things, but you have to give me more money. And it's just this endless cycle of them milking out from these young kids, playing off of their desires. It's like they're building up dreams for these kids, right? And they're just using that to make even more money, and they're gonna exploit it. That's just how it's gonna be. I'm pretty much done here. You know, at the end, the whole video of this is really kind of pointless in a sense, just because it's still gonna keep happening. It's just, I want people to be more aware of the situations that go on this platform, and be more aware and just notice it. Like, I used to be subscribed to Ricegum, I used to be subscribed to Jake Paul too, and for a while I enjoyed their content, but it's like when you like pull yourself back and you look at it and you see what their end game goal, whatever you want to say is, it's just, you don't want to be supporting that, and you don't want to involve yourself, and that's just, stop using your business moves to exploit children is really just the issue. And just be honest, I guess. Life has ups and life has downs, and regardless of having money and having wealth and fame, you're still gonna have ups and downs. You look at Hollywood, you have all these people that become famous, they're rich and they're famous and they have the fans, and they're involved in drugs, and they're involved in all these different aspects of life that they wouldn't have associated themselves with before. And it's because they're not happy, ultimately, is what it is. And you just need to do what ultimately makes you happy. And really, I guess that's it. This is Kazo Moon signing off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to like and subscribe, and cheers.